In my opinion, there are two must-see military museums here in Moscow. Number one, the Central Armed Forces Museum, and number two, the Great Patriotic War Museum, which is their national World War II museum. Remember, the Soviet Union lost approximately 25 million people. Nobody knows for sure in World War II, greatly in excess of any other country. So they deeply feel the losses from that war. This particular museum is one of the best I've ever been in. I'll take you through some of the highlights and also tie them into small arms of that time frame, both German and Soviet. All right, this particular case behind me is interesting in the respect that when the Germans invaded Russia in June of 1941, both armies were primarily armed with bolt-action rifles. In the case of the German Army, the K98K. In the case of the Red Army, the Minigun. Now, it didn't take them long to realize this was a different kind of warfare involved, and a bolt-action rifle essentially really wasn't cutting it. So both armies looked for ways to increase their firepower. Now, the Germans had the MP40 and the MP38. What came to symbolize the Red Army and essentially their assault rifle in a way is the PPSH-41, the submachine gun. Now technically it's a pistol calibered weapon, so it's not really an assault rifle, but they issued it in such large numbers it de facto became the assault rifle of the Red Army. A couple interesting twists on that. The German Army later adopted essentially the Sturmgewehr, or the first true assault rifle, and issued them in large numbers, but never to the point that they were able to replace by any means the K98K. On top of that, a submachine gun was developed in the siege of Leningrad known as the PPS-43, and even though it saw widespread use, nowhere near as much as the PPSH-41. In reality, in a lot of ways, it's actually a better gun than the PPSH-41.